What's up, y'all? I'm out here at the range, as you can see back behind me, on a beautiful day to get some testing done. Nice temperatures out here. I think we're expecting low to mid 70s by the time I'm out of here, so absolutely perfect. No humidity at all, so I'm definitely trying to make the most of it out here today. I've got one pretty good one done so far, and this one right here should be some very interesting 9mm. So we got the jelly contraption ready to roll with a couple of chronos and 2 blocks of gel. Only one test done, and it stayed completely at the back, so I got plenty of room for whatever happens with this one. Of course, we've got the heavy clothing barrier up front that's got the layer of denim, fleece, and 2 layers of cotton t-shirt. And what we got for this one is some really interesting new 9mm that a couple people have been asking me to check out. We've got the Cimex Defensecore. Now, this is a 9mm 45 grain projectile. This stuff is some really specialty type ammo. I'll give you a little bit of a brief info about it, but you can go check it out yourself. All kind of claims. Y'all know how this specialty ammo is, especially the real light for caliber stuff like this is 45 grains. It makes all kind of claims as far as recoil, follow-up shots, you know, lead free obviously here. So I'll let y'all read that again. But this one is kind of unique in that it's calling itself a submass core. It's a proprietary submass core. Now it's polymer. I've read some other stuff on their site about a kinetic ceramic core, but that may be in a different line. So I think this is a polymer type of core. Now they kind of describe it as behaving or having the characteristics of a non-Newtonian fluid. They say it behaves like a solid, but has the characteristics of a non-Newtonian fluid. So now y'all know, like non-Newtonian fluid, that's Oobleck, and that's something that's kind of hard when you smack it fast, but it's soft if you squish it, if you do slow like that. So that's just a kind of a really general way to describe a non-Newtonian fluid. They're claiming all kind of benefits with that as well. I'm sure you can imagine better gas sealing, they're saying. So again, I'm just testing it. Y'all take this for what it's worth and make up your own mind whether it's good or it's a gimmick. Now they're saying 2,250 plus feet per second from this stuff, which would give you over 500 foot-pounds of energy. There's a look at your cartridge, brass case there with that jacketed. I think they're saying this is some kind of alloy to jacket. I'm not sure if it's completely brass, but it's some kind of jacketed proprietary projectile there. Now also, unlike some of the other really light for caliber stuff like the civil defense and the Liberty ammo and stuff like that, this is not made to segment into little segments like those are. So this is either supposed to expand or do some fragmentation, just get mangled up. They've actually got a couple of pictures of some gel on their site for the 40, and you can just see it's kind of mangled, kind of frag expansion if you want to call it, like I sometimes do. Now I didn't see any kind of test barrel links, but I'm using my usual subjects here. For the shorty, we've got my Canik Mete MC9 with the 3.1 inch barrel, and then for the longer one, I've got the G17 with the 4.5. So most of y'all probably already know how I feel about this really light specialty type ammo, but we'll give it a chance to see what it can do out here. Let's get everything set up and see what happens. All right, y'all, let's see what kind of numbers we can get out of these fancy pants rounds. And we'll do a 5-round average from each barrel length. We're gonna start with the G17 first. Now you're gonna see multiple readings from this lab radar. The large numbers right here at the muzzle, and then you've got 5 across the bottom. The first one there is set for 3 yards, which is roughly where I've got the gel here at 10 feet. And then the others are set for 10, 15, 25, and 50 yards. Now remember, they're saying 2250 plus FPS from this stuff. For some reason, I think we're actually gonna see that too. Let's see what it feels like. Oh yeah, that's non-existent recoil. We had an error right there. I had a feeling we might get something a little funny just because this thing is kind of in the middle of my 2 velocity ranges. Let me try that again, and then I actually might knock it down some. We're not getting anything right there. I can tell you right now, this is basically recoil free. It's one of those rounds that's so soft that you can almost feel the sluggish slide cycling. Let me try this on the lower range and see what happens here. All right, let's see if I can manage to get any reading at all out of these last 2. I'm gonna try to move away a little bit. Maybe the blast is messing up my radar. There we go, that's what it was, 2185. Hopefully that gives me one. And 2202, so I should have done that to begin with. Let's check out the 2-round average, I guess. All right, this ain't real useful info because it's only 2 rounds, but we had a 2-round average there, 2194. Extreme spread was 17 with a 12.2 standard deviation. So 2202, what did I say? It was 2250, 2205 or something like that. So right around where they're claiming it to be. Let's reset it and see if I can do a little better with the MC9. All right, let's see if we can do a little better with this one right here. I'm just gonna keep it away like I did there. I think just that blast is causing interference. 2046? Ah, it's all right. That's what it is. 2028? It's all right. That was the last one, and we only got 2 off of that one too. I can definitely tell you a couple things about this stuff, which I figured, and probably all y'all figured. Definitely a loud report from it. Not as loud and obnoxious as some of the lighter stuff, but it's a loud report, and recoil is nearly non-existent. And that G17 slide was very, very sluggish cycling. Now, y'all saw I didn't have any issues, but that might be something just to keep an eye on. All right, so not a whole lot of difference right here, which I'm pretty sure we usually see that with the real light for caliber stuff. There's not a whole lot of change with shorter barrel lengths. We had a 2-round average of 2037, 19 extreme spread with a 13.2 standard deviation. So pretty much the same as far as consistency. Now, again, it's only 2 rounds and really, really close. It's 2037 here. And if you remember on the 17, it was 2194. So you're talking about what? 157 difference right there. So that's more than I remembered. So that's a pretty significant difference right there, no doubt about it. That's probably going to give us something different in the gel, but if I was guessing, I would say both of these are probably going to do what they're designed to do. But let's get this stuff set up. Y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, it's hard but squishy jelly time. I'm gonna put one from each barrel length into the gel, starting with this 17 first. I really don't know what to expect from this stuff. Again, there's a picture showing the 40 in gel on their site, but I don't know what to expect from this right here. If I was guessing, I'd say it's probably going to kind of mangle up and maybe give us a little fragmentation. I see where it went in and it actually kind of fragmented. Looks like one of them other fast rounds. Let me go see what I got. All right, y'all, that right there is not at all what I expected and nothing that I like to see, I can tell you that. I mean, y'all can already see that you got just minimal penetration into that gel. That's weird right there. Let's see what this MC9 does. It's probably gonna be about the same if I was guessing. All right, I think we got about the same right there. Let's go check his stuff out. All right, let's check out what we got down here. This is some very strange stuff right here. Very, very strange, very weird performance. Not really what I expected to see. I expected to see some mangled up expansion and fragmentation, but nowhere near this amount of just complete fragmentation and just mangled up mess. But looking at them one by one here on the top, that's the one from the G17. As you can see with both of these, as soon as they come in, I mean, you got an immediate transfer of energy within, I mean, after a 1 inch max, you got a huge energy transfer right here, big area of disruption, and it immediately goes all to pieces. I mean, all to pieces. The jacket tears all to pieces, several different parts, and that little Oobleck core right there, or I shouldn't call it Oobleck. It's not really Oobleck. It's just a non-Newtonian type of fluid, but everybody knows what Oobleck is. But there you can see it. Very weird. I was really curious to see what that would look like, and it's just kind of like a big smeared piece of mess right there. I noticed both of them also have like a little disc right there with them. I mean, almost a perfect circle, and it's definitely not the base because you can see the base of the jacket right there. So I'm interested to see what that looks like after I pull it. And then down here on the bottom, pretty much the same thing right here. Same penetration, not much at all. I would say 3.5, 4 inches, maybe 4 inches, probably more like 3 to 3.5, but same thing right here. You can just tell tell it's a little bit slower though, not as big of a transfer of energy right there, big disruption area, a lot smaller right here. And this one again though, immediately goes all to pieces. You jack it, tears all the pieces into different fragments, and then the Oobleck on this one, I keep calling it Oobleck, y'all know what I mean. The core on this one, it actually separated as well. I think that stayed in one piece unless a piece of it came out right here, but looks like this one definitely separated into two different pieces. But let's see what kind of measurements I can get for y'all as far as the distance here. I mean, the furthest piece out of that G17 is 4 3/4 inches. I mean, that's just absolutely pitiful as far as penetration, if you ask me. And then the one down there below that, from the MC9, that one pedal piece is out to 6 inches, but the most of them, all the rest are right there at 4 3/4 where the other one is. Now, as far as sort of a spread of these fragments, you're looking at about a 2.5 to 3 inch spread from those fragments. And then here's your close-up look at them. Again, on the top is the G17, bottoms the MC9. You can tell they both look identical. I mean, definitely more velocity on the bottom, so it gave it a bigger area of disruption, but you can see there how those things react. And then look at that core right there. It's just kind of like a smear. And then when you go down here, that one kind of split in half and got two little pieces of smear there. So very, very strange acting stuff. And then here from the top, pretty much the same story. It's just a big mangled up, fragmented mess of a projectile. All right, y'all, check this weird stuff out right here. This is, I pulled what I could as far as the larger pieces and the pieces that had the goo stuck to it. This is the G17 right here. So that little disc I was seeing, that is the base of it. You can see it just pushed it right out. It was going so fast. And here's that core. I mean, this is some weird stuff. I mean, and it is soft. It's super soft, like soft, sticky. It's almost like taffy. It feels just like taffy, but it does have some kind of structure to it, if that makes any sense. So I could see this acting like a non-Newtonian. I mean, you'd have to test that to know if it did for sure, but that's very strange. I can tell you right now, though, I mean, as far as me personally, there's probably no way on God's green earth you're gonna get me to run this stuff right here. I think this stuff is just weird. It's weird. I feel like personally it's an absolute gimmick, and the performance that I'm seeing right here is not for me at all. But anyway, let's finish looking at this stuff. This is the one from the MC9. I had to get a few extra pieces on this one because there was the big piece. You can see it's clogged in there or stuffed in there, whatever you want to call it. And then there's the little center disc from NASA. And again, I mean, this stuff really is, I mean, it's soft and sticky like taffy, y'all. It's really soft, just like a taffy candy. So very strange stuff right there. But let's get a few numbers just out of curiosity. This probably don't mean a whole lot because, I mean, I just kind of picked some random fragments, but they started at 45. If we add just that right there, that's like 13.8. And then if we add this big pedal back, we're at about 34. So the rest of the shrapnel's still actually in there, but to take that how you want to take it. And then all these here, I'm just going to toss them all three on at the same time. Those right there were at 41.6, so you can see I've definitely picked up more material, but I just had to get all the gooey stuff. And then as far as sizes, there's probably really no good way to do this. This right here is the biggest piece. That's the jacket. I mean, you got a big old 0.77 piece of jacket going there. As far as this goo, I mean, I think this right here is pointless even measuring this because it's a change in structure, because like, see, I can just squish it on down. I mean, I can make it whatever I want basically, but it's about 0.77, I think it was, about 0.3 right there. What was that again? Yeah, about 0.77, 0.8, something like that. And the same with these other ones. I mean, the biggest piece here, that's jacket. You got what, 626 right there. So, and then you got these other couple little pieces. But take all that for what it's worth. Again, it's kind of hard to get any kind of actual measurement at all with this stuff. But there you go, y'all, the Simex Defensecore with their proprietary submass projectile. Very strange stuff right here. I honestly think this is a complete gimmick. I mean, I don't see any kind of use case for this stuff, that there's not something out there that's way better already. I guess I'll keep holding this so y'all can look at it, but I think there's far better stuff for any use case than this right here. I would really have to see many, many, many more tests and many more sessions of testing testing, hours of testing, all kind of different real world scenarios to even come close to thinking about trusting this stuff. But from what I'm seeing right here, again, there is absolutely no way personally that I'm picking this stuff up. All right, y'all, I'm gonna wrap this one up right there. It looks like we've got us another weird 9mm test in the books. Those of y'all that watch my channel much probably already know I'm not a big fan of this really light for caliber, hyper velocity stuff, but out of all of that type that I've tested, this right here might be my least favorite. Now, I know there are plenty of people out here that don't mind like super short penetrating rounds like this because they think it's gonna be effective. If you put these in the right place and they were able to get to the right place, yeah, they're gonna be effective, but I'm always worried about them being able to get to the right place, and then especially when you throw in this stuff and being made out of that goo like that. I mean, I would really have to see some serious testing and proof of use to trust this stuff in any way. But let me know what y'all think about this stuff. Does it impress any of y'all out there enough for you to pick this stuff up? Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. A reminder again, if you're doing any kind of shopping, hit up those affiliate links I've got in the video description down there. I've got pretty much anything you might be looking for down there, and anything you do pick up helps the channel, so I really appreciate that. Big thanks again to all my Range Gang members and every single one of y'all for supporting the channel. I got one more test planned for out here today that should be fairly decent, so make sure y'all stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you soon.